What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla -1 news and updates. I'm falling a little behind here on the -1 stuff just because I don't know if it's been obvious, but I've been gone for about 3-ish weeks now, so I'm back able to make videos. So I've fallen a little behind, so I'm going to try and keep things rolling here. Jumping into it, we have some art from Adrian20991. This is his Godzilla -1 redesign. I really like it. It's a very Millennium inspired design, clearly. Got those big giant spiky back spines, that's always cool. I like the very exaggerated chest bone, very Shin Godzilla, and I see a lot of Shin Godzilla influence in here. This looks like Shin Godzilla Monsterverse and Millennium Godzilla fused. I really like the tail. I like how long and windy it is. Very good stuff here. Next up, and this just highlights what an incredible year it is, but we have some art here from Chippy Ray Arts, and this is his Godzilla 2023 versus Gamera 2023. What an incredible art piece here. Great use of color. I really like the painting style. There's a really cool thing done here with RGB clouds, like it almost has this rainbow shimmer to it. I love the Gamera Rebirth design going on here with the blue turquoise glow coming from the chest and Godzilla squaring off against him. It's just awesome, and again, just goes to highlight what an incredible year we're living in, where Godzilla and Gamera are both back in official capacities. It's great. Next up, we have GNA. Oh, what a wonderful piece from GNA. This is GNA's Godzilla -1. It just looks so beautiful. I love the -1 design. This one especially highlights the very Heisei-esque look of it. I think it just looks great. I'm really into it. I just love GNA's artwork, so I will show it off any chance I get. It's just wonderful stuff. I really like it. A form of art I don't talk about very often is ZBrushing art. Now, ZBrush art is like 3D modeling digitally. It's good stuff. Kind of like the stuff that Godzilla 154 does, and I've seen him working lately, and it's very impressive what he's up to. But today I'm showing off Aki Yamamoto's Godzilla -1 ZBrush. I just think it's very impressive. Very well detailed, very well sculpted. It captures the design's likeness very well. This is great stuff. I'm sure lots and lots of time went into making this thing look as good as it does, and it's turning out wonderful so far. Another person who did a physical sculpt was Tom. Tom did a Godzilla -1 head sculpt, and it looks great. This is, again, it goes back to that Heisei-esque design. I actually get some GMK vibes in this, and I'm not sure why, but I think it's great. This is another great piece. And we have some closure on something I talked about in a previous video here, as we now have identification on who was the one who made that Godzilla fan poster that I showed off. Well, Matsuri made this Godzilla -1 fan poster. It's a great thing. I've shown it off before. I just wanted to show it off again because now I have it in high definition. It looks great, and I have the artist linked down below so you can go check him out. Giryuto Hale showed his Yamazaki Godzilla display. He's got what I think is the X Plus Godzilla the Ride here. He's got those Godzilla -1 acrylic stands, and then he's got a newspaper for the Godzilla the Ride in the background, and I love the retro poster there. That is great stuff. I hope they do something like that for the new movie. He also has it hooked up with some RGB blue and red lights. It looks beautiful. Wow, this is good stuff. And that was super creative, putting the LED strips on the actual acrylic stands. He's just got a couple pictures showing those off, and they look wonderful. Godzilla 2000M mentioned on Twitter the eerie realism of the Godzilla memorial in Godzilla vs. Biollante. This is something that I've talked about on the channel before when I've talked about Godzilla vs. Biollante. It's such a small moment in the movie, but it adds this real sense of actual weight to the previous film and to the events that happen in the Godzilla universe, and gives it this creepy, unsettling realness that I really hope the new movie captures. I wanted to show this off in this video because it's a very overlooked part of Godzilla's filmography, and I think it does a wonderful job capturing, in a more succinct way than most other things in the Godzilla franchise, the devastation that Godzilla causes. And so I hope we see something like this in the new film, because it would be terrifying. Godzilla attacking would be such a horrific and world-changing event that we would never properly recover from it, and so I appreciate stuff like this. Speaking of eerie realism, DMC, the YouTuber I've shouted out in previous videos, connects the -1 destruction to the Battle of Okinawa in real life. The destruction we see in the trailer, he is theorizing, could be coming from the actual Battle of Okinawa. This is a real photo from Okinawa, following the Pacific battles that happened there, and I definitely see the parallels. And while I personally am not expecting that to be the actual location that the film is set, I also would not be surprised. This goes back to the way that the original Godzilla movie pulled from real-life visuals to create such a horrifying destruction sequence, and to give such real weight to the aftermath of Godzilla's attack. Same way that Shin Godzilla pulled from the real-life triple event disaster in 2011 in order to create a movie that resonated with audiences on such a deep level, and I'm so glad to see that Yamazaki is doing the same here. Speaking of director Takashi Yamazaki, we have a photo of his Ultraman the ride. It's got a poster up. It's a ride that is just like his Godzilla ride, both set in the Showa era with horrific destruction, which is again a theme of his, and both posters are on display. I don't remember off the top of my head what theme park this all takes place at. I never really am able to say the name anyways, but I didn't know he did an Ultraman ride. It's really cool. I know he's great with action sequences, so I'm sure it is a wonderful tribute to the Ultraman franchise, and I'm sure that the destruction scenes are great. It's also just more indication that he is well equipped to take on this new project, as he has a lot of experience under his belt. Godzilla Festival 2023 will be held in Hibiya. We have a poster for that now, featuring the 1954 Godzilla in front of a very colorful background, maybe to represent the fact that this is the anniversary of Godzilla vs. Megalon, a very colorful children's film. Godzilla 2023 will be held in Hibiya. It was supposed to be held in Shinjuku. They moved it, unfortunately. If it was in Shinjuku, it would just be a little bit more convenient. It will lift the ban on the information for Godzilla Minus One. They will be free to discuss Godzilla Minus One there, as the movie will come out the same day as Godzilla Festival, November 3rd, 2023. There's some G-1 merch on sale in Japan. It is now on sale with a poster display. I'm not sure where it's on sale here, some department store, but I figured I'd show it off because it's always fun to show this stuff off. G-1's poster has also started to pop up in different areas. For instance, at Anime Matsuri 2023, which was held in Houston, Texas, it was just a couple weeks ago, the Godzilla Minus One poster was on display at the Godzilla Store Tokyo at Anime Matsuri. Not only was the poster on display, but the Godzilla Minus One trailer was one of about 5 or 6 trailers they played on loop at the convention. Now, I was there. It was a wonderful time. It was so fantastic to see this poster in real life, massive in front of you. It's so great to see. It was wonderful. I loved it. It was awesome. I took a photo with Shinji Nishikawa there. We posed in front of the Godzilla Minus One poster. It was just a great time, a really great experience. I'm going to continue to talk about that more and more and more over time because I've got a lot of stories to share, and I'm back now so I can start sharing those stories. Shinji Nishikawa, for those of you who don't know, is a Godzilla artist who's been involved with the franchise in an official capacity since 1989's Godzilla vs. Biollante. He's done concept art on tons of films, redesigned monsters, designed new monsters, and is just a true legend. The Anime Matsuri Godzilla store staff posed next to a massive painting Nishikawa did, and I made sure to frame them next to the Godzilla Minus One poster. I was the one who took these photos. Good stuff. What a great experience for everybody involved, I think. For me anyways, it was awesome. I'll also mention here, and I'll talk about it more as time goes on, I'll put it in other videos coming up and stuff, and someday I'll be able to post the panel, but I was able to ask Shinji Nishikawa if we would be able to expect anything coming out from Toho following Godzilla Minus One. Don't take this as anything specific, this is just general, but I asked him if we could expect Toho to do anything special to celebrate Godzilla's 70th anniversary, and he told us that it would not be unlikely for them to do something special for Godzilla's anniversary, hinting that he knows about stuff that he just can't say. That was again discussed in the panel I hosted with him that I will be posting at some point in the future on this channel. Tying that back into DMC, he believes that there might be a sequel to Godzilla Minus One in development. If that's the case, I could see Toho doing a really quick 1-year turnaround on it, and Yamazaki already being busy working on that project right now. I don't know if that's the case, I'm just saying I could see it happening. I figured while we're on the topic of Anime Matsuri, I would mention it. Godzilla Minus One's poster has started to pop up all over in Japan in multiple different movie theaters, so you can see it on display in movie theaters now. It's also popped up in the Hotel Nagano Avenue, which shows its support for Godzilla Minus One with a poster and a little display for Godzilla in the background. Now actually, if you look at the display, we've covered this display in other videos. We thought it was somebody's personal collection, but it looks like this is actually in a hotel. This very well could be somebody's personal collection and they've just put it up in a hotel, but it's a whole Yamazaki exhibit. It's got a couple Godzilla the Ride things there, and then also that's just so clearly the Godzilla 2014 silhouette on the wall back there. That's what gives away the fact that we've already talked about this thing before. Godzilla Minus One's trailer has now started to play in Japanese theaters. It's weird that a 30-second teaser has made its way into the movie theater, but people say it's incredible to see the thing on the big screen, and it looks wonderful and is very impactful. I agree, I've seen that thing on a big screen at Anime Matsuri, and it is very impactful. Here's a photo of the Minus One full display at Wonder Festival 2023, which director Yamazaki was at. I just figured I'd show it off. A new Yamazaki exhibit has been opened. This was found by DagMBS01 on Twitter. It shows Ghidorah with Minus One in the background, Ghidorah attacking the Matsuoto Castle. Now you might be wondering what's the relevance here. here? What's the relevance of Ghidorah? Why is it here? Well, not only is Ghidorah important because Yamazaki already used Ghidorah in Godzilla the Ride, but this new Yamazaki exhibit, which is found in his hometown, features a Godzilla -1 display that gives a little bit of explanations here. Now, I've got the reading comprehension skills of probably about a first grader or less when it comes to Japanese. I'm learning. I'm not very good yet, so I've had some help translating this thing, so if anything's mistranslated, blame it on the internet. But the Yamazaki exhibit here states that his first Godzilla film experience was Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monsters, which he saw in theaters. He stated that seeing that movie is what started his love for all movies. It's what set him down the path to become a director. He says that ever since he was born, he's wanted to get his hands on Godzilla in a proper movie at least one time, and that with Godzilla -1, that dream has been fulfilled. So that's why the Ghidorah thing is on display, because it is relevant to Yamazaki's journey in developing Godzilla -1. We have new angles of the Godzilla -1 concept art. This comes from SOSO Road 1103 on Twitter. He visited the Yamazaki Museum exhibit, took some photos of the Godzilla statue, and has a new photo showing off the concept art, just a photo showing it all off in one piece. This actually gives us an indication of the title cards down at the bottom. We can actually fully read the title cards at the bottom now, and we can see that yes, it is saying that the bottom left image of Godzilla's head is just a 3D CGI scan of Godzilla from the movie. It's claiming that that is actually the Godzilla design in the film, which means maybe the evolution theory is true, and his face will be evolving over the course of the film. However, I still think that this is an unfinished render of the Godzilla design before we land on the one we see in the trailer. If you want to see my full breakdown of that concept art and those storyboards, you can go check out my previous video where we've already gone in depth about this stuff. Do you remember the glowing Godzilla thing we talked about a couple weeks ago? Well, it turns out that was a parade float, so now we got a little bit more information about it. I still think the fact that it glows orange and it's got this very distinct burning Godzilla look to it could be an indication that Godzilla will charge up in a very Godzilla King of the Monsters glowing through the skin orange way in this movie, and I do think his atomic breath still could be orange in the new film. I think that's entirely still on the table. But we have a bunch of pictures of the float in action during the festival. These photos come to us from people like Beef Kosogod or TM0904 or Yurabeti. We have photos of the parade float glowing at night as they pull it down the street. We actually have videos of the thing in action. This is great. I love seeing this thing. The way they pull it around the street, the way that all the people are going crazy in the festival. It's just so cool to see Godzilla in a massive form. I mean, it's not that big. I think it's probably about 12 feet or something like that, but it's still really cool to see this thing being pulled down the street, glowing at night. It's cool to see Godzilla getting an official presence out there. It's cool to see Toho repping the new Godzilla. We have additional photos here from Nori. It's just so cool to see this thing all lit up. The Godzilla float was put on display, and we get to see it better than ever here with proper lighting and exposure, and it looks wonderful. Darakue visits the Godzilla float, and we have a ton of pictures of this thing. We have additional pictures from Shono1, who visits the Godzilla float. He visited it with the Godzilla acrylic stand. So there's just a bunch of pictures of this thing in the daylight in a proper exposed environment, showing off how wonderful the sculpt is and how incredible it just is overall. There's great work put into this thing. We've got close-ups of it. We've got close-ups on the face. We've got side profiles of it showing off those wonderful new dorsal spines that are wildly exaggerated. We love to see them. And then we have a full photo of the display here. You can see it actually stacked up next to another parade float, and here he's looking quite small compared to that. But again, it's just wonderful to see this thing on display. That final photo comes to us from Neputa. I'm all for it. I love the new design, and I love to see Toho repping it. That's where I'm going to end this one today, guys. I want to give a huge thank you to all my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you all very much for the support. I really appreciate it. By supporting the Patreon, you directly support this channel, and you can also get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man, out.